stunning victories on gravel roads across the country to raising money for kids cycling to his award-winning Sunflower Bike Shop, Hughes' passion for cycling is so easy to see. Hughes began his gravel cycling adventures in the early 1990s. Seeking adventures and roads less crowded by cars, he found his calling on these countless miles of gravel roads around his Lawrence, Kansas home. Hughes participated in some of the earliest known organized gravel events, including the 80-mile non-competitive race, the Flint Hills Death Ride. When he learned of plans to launch the DK200, Hughes decided to give it a try. And though he didn't know it at the time, the decision would strongly influence his future life path. After winning the inaugural DK200, Hughes won the overall title again in the 200-mile event 3 more times and has amassed a total of 8 top 10 finishes and 11 event finishes to date. How about that? He's also finished the good 350-mile DK XL. Hughes won the overall title at Gravel Worlds in 2014 and his stunning Trans-Iowa overall victory in 2017 in miserable freezing rain conditions was an amazing display of grit and determination. His early racing successes helped Hughes legitimize the unique needs of gravel riders so manufacturers could develop bikes and components better suited to the task. From frame geometry and features to drivetrain, wheel and tire technology, Hughes has been instrumental in the evolution of the modern gravel bike. Pushing the bike industry to develop more purpose-built products for enhancing the gravel experience and then seeing those products come to market, that's very gratifying, Dan said. Hughes said he's proud that the modern gravel scene is an evolution of his homegrown Midwest concept. So often the lens of cycling world is focused on the roads of France or on the coast of the US or some far-flung place that has nothing to do with the flyover country. Most of the established events in the gravel space first happened in the heartland of the US. Rebecca Rush would be a great example. She came to race the DK200 almost against her will. That's what we just heard. But had such a great time that she went home and created her own event that's now in its 10th year. That's life-changing for me for sure, but it's life-changing for folks across the US and the world. Last year, Hughes rode the 200-mile unbound gravel race with his teenage son, Charlie. The pair rode to raise money for the Outride Fund, which assists communities in launching youth cycling programs, and the Lifetime Foundation, which works to bring healthier food options to schools. In the end, the pair raised more than $15,000 for those great charities. He said that despite the competitive accomplishments and accolades, it's the friendships he's made along the way that are the most valuable to him. Without gravel, I wouldn't have met Rebecca, Yuri, Tim, and Christy, Bobby, Paulina, and so many more. Those bonds are more important than wins in my book. Says a lot about the man. Let's bring him up. Please welcome up to the stage the next inductee of the Gravel Cycling Hall of Fame, Dan Hughes.
Right off the bat, I think we have to understand how each and every one of us are fortunate that I'm standing here before Bobby. And I thought we were going in alphabetical order, and my anxiety was rising the entire time, just down to the nitty-gritty here. Last time I had to follow Bobby in an interview or a speaking engagement. His irrepressible and effervescent countenance meant the only thing I could do to match him was to take my pants off. So I did. It was the most uncomfortable I think I've ever seen Leland. He was conducting the interview. But thankfully, something we don't have to repeat tonight, unless there's a chorus of voices that... Anyway, my point is this. I have the photo if you want to see it later. To say that I'm honored to be included in the company of Reba and Guitar Tad and Cornbread. I'll try to get through this one. Right?
Love you, Dan. Love you, Dan.
Cornbread, Chris, KFM, and Bobby would be massive understatement. I'd like to thank my family, friends, and coworkers for putting up with me and sacrificing much while I rode my bike. This honor is as much for me as it is for them. Sorry, other way around. You for that. I'd also like to thank my friends in the bike industry that endured my constant asks like, can I drill the bottom of this carbon frame so I can mount it through water bottle cage underneath the down tube? Thankfully, that answer was a hard no. I would also say that I think that this is an inaugural class that legitimizes the need for a gravel cycling Hall of Fame, because these folks absolutely deserve to have their accomplishments recognized. For my part, I'm proud to have been the standard bearer for the legions of folks that saw me ride my bike and thought to themselves, hell, if that badass can do it, so Of course, this overlooks the secret to my piddling successes, namely my copious amounts of back fat. You see, in endurance events, you have to have calories on board to fuel your effort. And I personally cannot recommend back fat highly enough. Not only is it an abundant source of onboard energy as one traverses the rolling Flint Hills, but back fat, if properly deployed, actually propels you down the descents and it catapults you up the next rise. It is like surfing a giant lipid wave. Which is to say, magical. Kidding aside, bicycles have transformed my life, as I have identified as a rider longer than I have known of myself as anything else. Bicycles, and specifically gravel bicycles, have given me the opportunity to test myself mentally and physically, taking me to exotic locales like Nebraska or Iowa, and afforded me the chance to bring others along for a transformative journey. Simply put, bicycles have given me a lot. To be fair, they've taken a fair bit too, like 3 collarbones, but on the whole, it's been a net positive for sure. The most amazing positive of gravel has to be this: to be part of a family of like-minded gravel dorks, I say that lovingly, that understand that exploring what's around the next curvy bend in the road or over the next hill is part of the purpose. To continue working forward on the course and in life, always keeping in mind what Reba once told me, and I'm paraphrasing here, that big efforts have high spots and low spots, and neither last forever. Enjoy the good stuff, get through the bad stuff, and keep moving forward. In closing, I'd like to say that while this inaugural group of stellar individuals is worthy of our acknowledgement tonight, there are a lot more stories to be told. I would like to challenge each of us here tonight to think of someone that brought them into the gravel fold and start writing their story. And not just one-liner nominations, but stories with some meat or plant-based protein of your choice on those proverbial bones. I'm honored to be included in the Hall of Fame, especially in the first year, but there are many years to come and many more riders, promoters, adventurers, and gravel dreamers that are worthy of inclusion. Let's write those stories.